Today I am going to attempt to make bagels, and you are along with me on this journey. I have never made bagels before. I know it can be really easy, but if you have a specific taste or flavor in mind, it can be hard to imitate that. I know that for a specific New York style bagel, there are some ingredients that I just don't have on hand, but I am going to try to mimic that texture and flavor as much as possible. So let's see how this goes. I'm following a recipe that looks pretty good. I'll make sure to shout it out after, but I'm just gonna get started with warm water and yeast. Nice, okay. So we've got half a cup of warm water in there, and we're gonna pop in 2 teaspoons of active dry yeast, and also our sugar. And right now we're not going to irritate this mixture just yet. We're just gonna let it sit for about 5 minutes. While it's sitting for 5 minutes, I'm going to get together the other ingredients in a large bowl. So inside this large bowl, I'm going to mix 3½ cups of bread flour or another high protein flour, and a little bit of salt, 1½ teaspoons of salt. 1, 2, 3, so that's 3½ cups of flour. And a little bit of salt. I'm going to mix them together a little bit just to make sure that it's fully incorporated. Probably also use a whisk for this right now. And then I'm going to make a little well in the center. Okay, so the yeast mixture has chilled, done its thing. It is now super foamy. I'm like really happy the yeast is still working. So now I'm going to follow the recipe. I made a well in the middle of the flour, and now I'm going to pour in this yeast, sugar, water magic mixture. Oh, that looks great, doesn't it? Okay, so that's in there, and now I'm going to pour 1/3 cup of water, warm water, into the dough. I want a moist and firm dough according to the recipe. So I've got 1/3 cup. Pop that in there. And I'm going to start mixing. I'll start with the spatula, and then I will probably move to my hands pretty quickly. I just want to use the spatula to get this going, just in case I still need to touch other equipment. I don't know if I'm doing this correctly. I am not a professional chef or baker. Okay, I think I'm going to prep a small amount of water to continue to pour in, just so I don't have to touch too many things with doughy hands, but I am going to likely add some more water. It's a lot of water, but you know, I don't know what I'm doing. Okay, this is like definitely a firm and thick dough. Let's see what we do next. Now I am meant to knead this on a floured surface for about 10 minutes. I'm really bad at kneading, or so I learned over the past week. So this will probably take longer than 10 minutes, but I will see you when I'm done. So I've spent a lot of time with this dough. It's not looking the best, but I feel like it is where it is. I've been kneading for about 20 minutes, so I am just going to let it rest and proof. I'm going to pop it into an oiled bowl, cover it with a kitchen towel, and let it sit for about an hour. So the dough has rested, it has risen, I've plopped it down, covered it up, let it rest again. Now I'm back into dividing the dough into 8 separate pieces and rolling it into balls. I'm not doing that great. Feel like for the future of me making bread, I'm probably just going to stick to the KitchenAid mixer to get that first round of kneading done, because that's where I seem to be messing up the past couple days in all of my bread style goods. In the meantime, I'm just going to keep rolling out all of these individual pieces into balls. I have my dough balls with one weird experiment. Now I'm going to shape the balls into a ring. Just going to push one finger through the center and kind of squeeze it while stretching the dough apart. Again, I've never done this before. I have no idea what I'm doing. I don't know if my dough is correct. I don't know if my technique is correct. I don't know anything. But that's the fun of this. Just figuring it out. And if you're watching this video, you're just waiting in suspense for me to fail or succeed. So as I'm finishing making the rings, I'm going to be placing each donut or bagel onto a lightly oiled sheet pan. Once I have all of my rings assembled, I'm going to cover them with a slightly moist kitchen towel and let them rest for another 10 minutes before taking this any further. But I'll use that time to preheat the oven. I eat a lot of bagels. I ate them pretty regularly. I ate them all the time for lunch in high school. There was an amazing bagel shop just a block away from my high school, and the lunch specials were super cheap and absolutely delicious, and the bagels are just perfect. As an adult, I really enjoy Russ and Daughters Bagels. Slightly spoiled because there is a Russ and Daughters location in the same complex as my studio, so I do go there more than most people. I think people who know how to bake properly are just magical beings. Baking is so difficult. It's so scientific. You have to be so accurate. Everything really matters. Temperature, humidity, every ingredient and every quantity matters. It takes a lot of skill to bake properly. I wish I were a better baker. Okay, so I've got my sheet pan with my very misshapen and uneven bagels. I'm just gonna pop a towel over. And this is a clean towel, use a clean towel. I'm gonna let these rest for about 10 minutes. So right now I have water boiling in a pot. I've got a plate to kind of drain it a little bit and also apply my egg wash. A little plate with some everything bagel seasoning mix. And to the left, slightly off camera, I have my tray of bagels that have been resting. They've been sitting covered. And even though my bagels look a little funny, I'm just gonna go for it anyway. So here we go. So I popped in 2 bagels at a time. Just gonna see where this takes me. I'm gonna give it 2 minutes per side, just to try to give it a little bit of a chewier texture. Okay, I hit 2 minutes on one side, so I'm going to flip these ugly babies over and give it 2 minutes on the other side. These are hideous, but I will love them no matter what. I am proud of them. I am proud of them. They're slightly in bagel shape, and you know what? I'm happy. Okay, we've hit the 2 minute mark for these bagels. They are definitely dense and definitely doughy. I'm gonna pop 2 more bagels inside. start my timer, and in the meantime, brush these bagels with some egg wash and coat them. My favorite bagels are the ones that have seasoning or toppings like all over. Maybe I'll try to do that. Once I'm done coating the bagel, I'm going to pop it onto a baking tray with a lightly oiled sheet. That's in preparation to just pop these bagels directly into the oven. Okay, we're now 2 minutes in. Let's see what this looks like. Okay, okay. Not the worst I've ever seen. Definitely not the best, but not the worst. Okay, time to pop these babies out. That's becoming a well-coated bagel, you know? Pretty happy with that. My stove is turned off. My oven has been preheating to 425. I now have my beautiful bagels on a tray. I'm gonna pop them in the oven for about 20 minutes and see what happens. So here are my finished bagels. I'm actually pretty pleased with how they look. They've got that telltale bubbly situation going around on the exterior like I've been told to expect. I mean, I have no idea what these are like on the inside. I'm gonna cut one open. I'll cut the small one. That'll guarantee that it's cooked more than the others. Oh, that is so hot. I'm fine with like hot temperatures, and this is like real hot. I'm definitely gonna let these rest for longer. Gonna pop on a little smear of cream cheese. If this can even smear. Gonna let it melt in there for a sec. Wow, this is actually pretty good. It is baked through all the way. It tastes really good. It has a good texture. It's definitely chewy. I'm pretty happy. I'd call this a success and a really great round one. Thanks for sticking around.